Recording in progress.
Ready? Good evening. Call to order Tuesday, June 6, 2023, meeting of the Common Council. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor Nelson.
Here.
Alderman Hopfer.
Here.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Here.
Alderman Hassan is not present. Alderwoman Day.
Here.
Alderman Barber.
Aye.
Alderman Craig.
Present. Thank you. Rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next up is citizen comment period. Any citizen wish to come forward and speak, please state your name and address clearly for the record. 3 minutes max.
My name is Thomas Michael Taylor. I reside at 7014 Elroy Court, Franklin, Wisconsin. Here tonight to talk about, there was a public hearing scheduled before the city's plan commission regarding a proposal for the partial development or redevelopment of Orchard Shopping Center, where approximately 70 residents showed up. I and others voiced opinions that this plan is not a true town center, such as Drexel Town Square Center or the Bay Shore Town Center. But in my words, it is hundreds of apartments where a splash pad, hotel, and ice skating rink might be developed. There are at least 3 different plans that have been circulated or are floating around this community concerning this proposal. One appeared in the Milwaukee Journal. It was written by Mr. Hanley, where it showed 3 areas of Franklin where approximately 1,000 new apartments would be constructed. Another plan has been distributed to my neighbors that is extremely ambiguous. And then there is the plan found at the planning department's website that shows apartment buildings that could easily hold 800 new residents and their children. This plan differs extremely from the document that was sent out to people within 500 feet of said redevelopment proposal. At the public hearing, I did not hear a single person speak in favor of the development proposal. In my opinion, all of the concerns expressed by the 70 or so people in attendance were not taken into the hearts of some of the plan commissioners. And I say that because there are no questions or comments regarding the comments that were made by me and my neighbors. It was more to the fire department about their staffing levels. I'm raising that because you have before you tonight, I think this is the second or third time you've had this, you have a lawsuit or lawsuits concerning the slaughterhouse that was proposed in Franklin. My understanding of that issue is, and it's very complicated, I have had my eyes on it, but in essence, if I'm reading it correctly or understanding it correctly, the citizens are saying that their constitutional rights have been violated and that the comprehensive master plan of the city was not followed. By the way, in the proposal that has been sent out, it is not in sync on the Orchard View Shopping Center. It is not in sync or in harmony with the comprehensive master plan that I have my signature affixed to. And that was a result of 3 years of hearings where we had the public all over the city come forward to testify as to what they wanted to see in the comprehensive master plan. So while there's a rumor out there that, well, this was only the work of a few people like myself and others, the comprehensive master plan is the net result of the input of the people of Franklin. So when you change the comprehensive master plan, it should only be for the most extreme measures. I guess the simplest way of putting this is, absent a plan, you get on the proverbial slippery slope. Next thing you know is you're in chaos. While the comprehensive master plan is not perfect, it's something that you should try and stick to as much as you possibly can.
4 minutes, sir.
Oh, thank you. I think I pretty well completed it. I'm urging you to instruct the staff, because the Common Council actually is in charge of the city. Charter Ordinance 55, I believe. The mayor is responsible to the people of the city, but the authority of the city is vested with this Common Council. So it's up to you to make sure that the laws are obeyed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Antonina Poplar, and my address is 11856 West Ryan Road. I'm finishing up my last week as a freshman at Franklin High School, and I work at Crossroads Pizza and Subs on St. Martin's Road. I often take my bike to work. My family and I have lived in our current home in Franklin for about 7 years, and throughout those years have had many encounters with wildlife, including deer, turkeys, bats, owls, foxes, etc., you name it. But one animal in particular I see a lot, especially on my way to work, is turtles. They cross 116th Street all throughout summer and spring, as it's surrounded by wetlands, and they move from pond to pond. Whenever I come across a turtle crossing the road, I always get off my bike to pick it up and move it in the way it was going to ensure it makes it across the road safely. Sometimes I come across ones that were ran over. I've noticed some people have a blatant disregard for them and don't hesitate to hit them. It's unfortunate how common it's become, seeing how it's their home too, and they're without a voice. I'd like to ask we implement turtle crossing signs on 116th Street to make drivers more aware so they can be watching out for them, because they can be harder to spot if you're not aware of them being there. Over this past week alone, I've seen 6 squash turtles. We need to do better and care for Mother Nature's creations a lot better than we are currently. Some may say a sign won't do anything, but if that were true, everyone would be getting speeding tickets. Even if it only saves one turtle, it's worth it. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come forward?
Hi, my name is Lauren Wagner. I live at 7026 Elroy Court in Franklin. We've lived in our home for 1984, raised our children in Franklin, contributed many tax dollars to support the city of Franklin and the Franklin School District. I and many others spoke at the Franklin Planning Commission meeting on May 18th, but I believe that it was important for me to go on record here tonight at the Common Council meeting to state my opposition to the large apartment complex and hotel that are proposed at the Orchard View site on 76th and Rawson. I am strongly opposed to these buildings being placed in the middle of an established residential area. I'm also concerned about the increased traffic and noise coming at all hours from the apartments, hotel, and a possible concert pavilion that are being proposed. I am also concerned about the runoff that will occur with the additional paved surfaces, and also that this area is partially on a represented wetland. One other concern that I have is about the police and fire staffing that would be needed to handle this large development. Thank you for your consideration, and I'll see you on June 22nd.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My name is Milton Groth. I live at 8335 West Drexel. I have lived there since 1974. What I've got to talk about, there's a property that's directly in back south of mine, and it's owned by the city of Franklin. It says OS Forest Meadows, 803-0201-000. That is the tax number or code number, whatever. Okay, over the years, I noticed that somebody was dumping stuff on that property. And I guess it got to me after a while. I tried to work with a former alderman mayor, and he came out and with some other people from the city, And we looked at that, and yeah, he agreed that there was quite a bit of non-biodegradable material there that should be removed. Along this, we followed that like a trail, and somebody took it upon themselves to build a bridge across Legend Creek. And they have built a substantial staircase that comes right down to that bridge. And so I went to go check the records here to see where the lot lines all were. And it got to be kind of a little bit of a tussle at the engineering office down there, where they used a thing called a GIS. I used that. And accordingly, onto here, it says that's not a definite record. You should go and see actual plot diagrams, like schematic diagrams. I'm sure maybe the city engineer could explain that a little more clearly than I can. But because when it's like an overhead shot, I mean, I'm seeing it, you all have seen it, it's got trees and foliage and everything, and you can kind of see the lines, but you don't see where the creek is. Now, if that property belongs to whoever built that bridge, fine. But I'm very suspicious that it isn't, and I may need some help in getting the actual accurate diagrams, drawings, engineering blueprints that show what that property line looks like, and if it does involve Legend Creek, And, right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Along with that, also, we had talked with former Mr. Mayor and about crosswalks on four corners of 83rd and Drexel, Forest Meadows. And that seemed reasonable. And we tried to figure out just how we're going to do that. There was something about making a connector with crosswalks has to have a sidewalk. But on the southeast corner, where the Hogan family, I don't have that tax code, but it's on that corner, there has like a stub sidewalk. And why can't they put that on the other side? So am I running out of time? Okay, well.
He's not looking to tussle, he's just giving you his card.
Huh?
That was a joke.
Well.
He's not looking to tussle. He said tussle with the engineering, and he's engineering.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, what I understood is that the crosswalks were put in the budget, and then after the election was taken, or Mr. Mayor was no longer the alderman, they were kind of like taken out of the budget. So I'd like to know what that intersection is getting to be more and more crowded. And I mean, in the last year or so, it is very busy at times. And I think that it deserves that set of crosswalks and have some better signage over there. Some communities, they have these neon green signs that says it's a crosswalk and things like, I've almost been hit just going across the street to get my mail. My wife has almost been hit to going across the street to get our mail. There are certain times up there where you just do not want to go out on that street. And I can understand that people want to go to where they want to go in a big hurry, okay? And sometimes their better judgment, gets out of whack, and, oh, it's my turn, no, it's my turn, and we've had a couple of big accidents there as well. So anyways, pardon me? Give you a call tomorrow? What time?
I like that.
I'm retired, so I got, I don't have all the time in the world, but I got quite a bit.
Late morning.
Huh?
Late morning.
Late morning. Okay. You're on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Anyone else wishing to speak tonight? Mr. Wickers? I think so. I think it's a perfect time.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, common council members. So I was a common council member back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and just a little bit of consternation and requests and turmoil that I saw today gives me flashbacks of back when I was an alderman. So it gives me an appreciation for what you guys do. Thank you.
Name and address, please, sir.
Oh.
For like the 19th person up here to say that, so I was just letting you breathe. Thanks.
That's fine. West 156, Chuck Wickers, State Representative, the 82nd Assembly District. West 156, South 7388, Quietwood Drive, Muskego, Wisconsin. So today, I was just going to let you know where we stand with the shared revenue. There is a lot of debate going on between the Republicans and the Republicans, a lot of debate going on between the Republicans and the Democrats. And the Senate and the Assembly haven't come together on a proposal yet. The Senate had some very good stances, so I voted no for the amendment to the shared revenue proposal by the Assembly until they can get those things that would benefit this district in that budget motion and amendment. So the things that are good is that there was a 200% increase in shared revenue for the city of Franklin. So that gets you much closer to where Oak Creek was. So for many years, almost 2 decades, Franklin was almost half of what Oak Creek was getting in a similar sized community. Now they're at about the same. We had negotiations for about a year and committee hearings for about a year. One of the things that I was fighting for this district was more money for long-term. We're not going to get that in this proposal. That would be under a levy tax reform specific to emergency services, fire and police, and public works. And that's what the levy tax reform would have. So that's not on the table at this moment. But we did need more money for roads. So before they had the original proposal, and we ended up at the last minute getting an additional $300,000 to almost $300,000 for the city of Franklin in that new proposal. So they gave an increase from what the original was. So, so you're up to about $1.2 million. So that was a part of the proposal that I agreed to and was thankful for, and there's other things in there. One of the reasons why, am I up?
No, keep going.
Okay.
Please.
A couple other things that were kind of heartburn was that this package wasn't just shared revenue or helping Milwaukee satisfy their unfunded debt to their retirement plan. It had become an omnibus package of a whole bunch of stuff, including TID reform, which I think should be dealt with in its own bill because it can be very complex, and every municipality would need to be able to weigh in on that. So some of the reforms for real estate, municipal real estate transactions in TID districts was specific to up north or another particular district that may have an unintended consequence to the city of Franklin, Greendale, or Muskego. So having that put in, so in a year's worth of discussions, that had never been on the table, and that was a late submission that we didn't have access to the details, even though I spent almost 24 hours trying to get the departments to tell us what was in those packages. We didn't have a full, clear understanding. I said, I'm not going to vote yes, and then have municipal leaders say, what'd you do that for? So I'd like to have you guys have a seat at the table when it comes to real estate transactions and TID reforms. What else do you need? Any questions on any of that stuff?
Well, first of all, I thank you for coming forward and spending some time kind of going over that. I know that there's no final on that, but I understand it's a moving and fluid process, and a lot of people were asking, and I'm very happy you came forward tonight and at least let us know that there is pretty good news for us.
So it is a big improvement for Franklin. It's a 190% increase in previous, but it's the formula allows for ongoing sustainable income to the municipality, but it's not going to fix the road or infrastructure, public works, and fire and police issues that are kind of peaking higher than the incomes coming in. So there's going to be additional reforms, and I went to 2 of the ICC meetings where they talked about innovation. Franklin doesn't really qualify for innovation because you guys have already done significant innovations. And the one that they said is dispatch, 911. And that's something that you guys are going to have to reconcile. The municipalities that surround Franklin were pretty much in agreement that they would rather do their own than submit to Milwaukee County or the city of Milwaukee to manage that for them. There may not be the return on the investment that you would recognize for innovation. It might end up costing you more, and there might be a deterioration of services. So that's why the municipality said we'd rather do it ourselves. Can we get some of that innovation fund for doing it ourselves and not with Milwaukee County? And after talking to the departments, it doesn't look like it would qualify. So you guys would have to find additional ways to innovate that probably aren't going to be there. So with that one-time $300 million innovation fund, we think that that $300 million could go a lot better served to municipalities that are fiscally responsible versus those who have not innovated and now are being incentivized to innovate. So you guys are going to miss out for always being fiscally responsible and prudent with your decisions, and more so than other municipalities. So, again, the final answer is long-term funding would come from levy tax reform, and that would be specific to fire, police, and public works, and that's going to be a big lift. So we have to work with the League of Municipalities, towns, and villages to come to agreement on that, but it would be up to you guys to continue to push the league to put that on the table very quickly, because the shared revenue will probably last you about 2 years before we're back in the same spot.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wickers.
Thank you, and you all have access to call me if you have any questions.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks again for what you guys do. Thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak at this time, come forward. If not, we will close. Seeing no one, we'll sit the count period. Going on to C, approval of minutes, regular common council meeting of May 16th, 2023. Any changes or corrections?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I believe we got no hearings. No organizational business, no letters of petitions. Going on to G1. G1, request common council authorization to purchase and install replacement furnace / air conditioner units at fire station number 1
Move to approve.
at an expected cost of $10,842.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. Mr. City Attorney.
Just a note that refers to a will need a budget amendment, and as always has been the practice, budget amendments that are needed accompany the subject item. However, in this case, without inquiring of it, it obviously appears that this is akin to need it now. I'm not going to use the word emergency, but it's a need it now, and I'm getting nods. So, that's just a point.
Okay, thank you. We'll just go back to our first and second, and we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. G2, a resolution to participate in Milwaukee County Department of Transportation's Complete Communities Transportation Planning Project.
So move.
Second.
Got a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item G3, inclusion of sidewalks in Wisconsin Department of Transportation project for South 27th Street from West Elm Road to West Villa Drive.
So moved.
Second.
Got a first and a second. Discussion, Mr. City Engineer.
So there's an option. You can either do one section, the second section, or both sections. So, like a little explanation.
Please, sir.
So this was discussed early this past year. I forget the exact date. I have it in the council action. It was discussed that DOT would participate in some sections, not other sections, and depending on their evaluation. We had a meeting with the DOT and got them to reevaluate their evaluation. Let me say it that way. So they did come up with a proposal where they could do basically from Elm all the way to Villas. They broke it up in sections for us. If we choose just to go from Ryan to Villas, they would pay 80% of the 5-foot sidewalk. We would have to pay 20% of that, and then we have to pay for the extra foot to make a 6-foot wide sidewalk so that we could clean this off. North of this section, when we redid 27th Street, we made a 6-foot sidewalk, and we actually assessed the extra foot to businesses. We don't assess residences for the sidewalk, but we do assess businesses. Similarly, they evaluated going from Elm Road to Ryan Road, and they would not pay any portion of that, but our portion would be $199,000 for that section. So if you look at the first section, actually $222,400 would be our share. And then the southern section, it would all be on us, but it's not a bad deal. It's just shy of $200,000 is the estimate. So the question is, and this would be in 20, I believe 25 or 26, actually 26 or 27. So when we would have to pay this, then we would put it in our 5-year capital plan coming up. So the question is, would you want just one section, or would you like both sections? And if just one section, I would suspect, based on the previous conversation, you'd want the northern section. But given that, keep in mind the southern section is also would help out the new corporate park.
Mr. City Engineer, before we get to Alderwoman Day, in your professional opinion, what is in the best interest of the city of Franklin?
So we just had a meeting this morning with the folks, actually the county, that are doing the BRT, rapid transit system. And we did acknowledge the fact that one of the things that have hurt us getting buses down to the corporate park and the hospital and all those sorts of things are actually having sidewalks. So I'm a firm believer in sidewalks. I believe the sidewalks should be everywhere. The health department recently had some public meetings where walkability should be a primary concern in the city, especially on 27th Street. I think that's really helpful. So I would vote for both, but it is mine.
Okay, so the short answer again was
Both,
both.
my opinion, yes.
Alderwoman Day.
Yeah, I'm also in favor of both. I drive this almost every day and think that it is needed. My question, though, is for the section that is Elm to Ryan, right now, it's about $200,000. If we were to not include that now, do you anticipate that cost would go up if we were to do it at a future time closer to the $2 million that is listed here?
So the cost is what the cost is. I'm sorry. I misspoke. It's not 199,000. It's $2 million.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I looked the wrong number. So the cost is what the cost is. So this is only an estimate. It's actually going to be based on what the contractor comes in at.
So it's not less or more because there's other work being done. This is just, we would be, whatever the cost is at the time, that is what it would cost us at the time.
Correct, but DOT will need to know that information now as they can prepare their plans.
And it also your council action sheet also states that some of the cost
Yeah.
may be or will be absorbed through some of the properties and
fees.
businesses down there from the impact fees.
Correct. And to stress again, the 199 is incorrect. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
the 2 million.
Mhm.
Big goof there.
So, going back to Alderman Craig's motion, we're going to follow your direction on this, on both sides.
Yeah, so again, this is 3 or 4 years out, but this bill will come due someday, yes.
Okay, is that your motion, Alderman Craig?
Yes, sir.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
She's shaking her head no, so we'll go with Alderman Day. First and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item G4, a resolution authorizing certain officials to execute a holding tank agreement with Dalma Properties LLC, 6701 West Ryan Road, tax key number 898-9999-000.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. G5, resolution to issue change order number 3 to Wanasek Corporation for the Ryan Creek Interceptor Odor Reduction Project in the amount of $15,165.24.
So moved. Second.
We got a first, Alderman Craig, second is Alderwoman Day. Any further discussion? Oh,
Question? For the
Alderman
city
Hofer?
engineer. Seeing as it says much of the delay was due to the Waukesha Water Project, any chance that we can recoup any of that?
We can ask. They're not obligated to, but we can ask.
Can't hurt.
any other discussion? I got a first and a second. Alderman Craig.
Is this interceptor fully connected to Muskego?
Yes.
And how many valves are involved with this?
So this specific, we have valves that we've installed for all the connecting sewers. So I believe there's 2, maybe 3 in this section, but we anticipate putting valves in all the downstream connections as they occur. We have a very, very large valve in the main sewer. So what and you want to come by someday, I can explain exactly how it works, but basically we isolated this section and we are sucking air out of the sewer and running it through a scrubber that cleans the air.
Okay.
So when you hear discussions about the fan blowing and that sort of thing, that's what that fan is doing. It's actually pulling air out. So before,
Kind of reverse pull kind of thing?
yeah, so it's basically we created negative pressure and we're pulling the stinky air out and we're pulling it through. So this valve only opens just enough to allow sewage to pass on downstream. So, but in this section itself, we are pulling the odor out, scrubbing it. And so we have one very large valve, and I believe at least 2, maybe 3 8-inch valves.
And this will then kind of, everything should be right as rain then after all this is taken care of?
In all honesty, I cannot think of anything else we could do to make this situation better. We've actually tried so we've called experts in from Louisville to look at this. We've worked with MMSD for doing more things. We actually put a large vortex separator that took care of a lot of the odor, but not 100% of the odor. We tried that first. Again, I can walk you through everything we've looked at in this area. It's and I can explain it better someday when you come stop by the office.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Suspend the rules.
Let's suspend the rules for a minute if we could.
Item so moved.
Second.
So moved to suspend.
Second.
Got a first and second. Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I couldn't get it in within my permit.
Mr.
And it's to supply you with history. Just your name and address again when we suspend. Thomas Taylor, 74
to make was, in 2003, I was not serving on the council, but this council overwhelmingly wanted the Ryan Creek Interceptor put in place at whatever cost necessary. When I became the mayor, I led a contingency of citizens that went down to MMSD. Mayor Bell, who was then chairman of the MMSD, heard our case, and a number of others. When I say that the city was willing to do whatever it took, I'm talking about spending millions and millions of dollars because they saw the Ryan Creek Interceptor as such a valuable piece because you're getting to build out in the city. And that would be the future so that you could rely on it, not today, not tomorrow, but maybe for the next 200 years. Point being is if you need to spend some money to fix the odor problem, in retrospect, the city saved $20-30 million by getting it through Bill Milkey's ideas. Just so I just wanted to put some history in here that that's what you got. And so if you got to fix the problem, and I can understand that, how difficult that might be. The residents in that area went through a lot and we had to walk the properties and all that stuff. So if it takes a few bucks to get her done, in the long run, if you look into it, and Mr. Wesolowski knows the whole history behind this, the city actually saved a ton of money. So thank you.
Motion to go back.
Motion to go back.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So with that again.
So I understand that it's not in your motion, but I understand I'm going to ask Waukesha if they could help alleviate some of the pain because of what the delay it took to get this started again. But I think the motion was to approve it.
Yes, it was. Did we have a second on that?
Yes. I believe
Alderwoman Day? Okay, we have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. G6, work change directive number 4 for survey monument work to Buten Peterson Construction Company, Inc. for the Franklin Corporate Park, South Hickory Street improvements. G6, Alderman District 4, Alderman Day.
Just a question before I make my motion. And this is just purely for my curiosity. Is there a reason that Sewer PAC is not covering? I know it's a small amount, and I know it's not budgetary impacting the overall project. I'm just curious why Franklin is on the hook for the replacement.
There's no.
Okay.
So the sewer pack, they go around and they document the quarter sections. So it has to be in that very exact spot. Hindsight, I wish maybe we would have known and had them come out before we poured the curb, and maybe we could have put a box around it or something, but even then it was an awkward spot. It's just really a fluke that we have to redesign around and have to pay the contractors.
But I will make the motion to approve.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item G7, a resolution imposing additions and restrictions for the approval of a special use for an approximately 4,000 square foot accessory structure upon property located at 8570 South 116th Street. Mr. Robert G. Montgomery applicant.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Montgomery. Item G8, a resolution for acceptance of a stormwater facilities maintenance agreement and easements for storm drainage, stormwater management access, and water main at 3617 West Oakwood Road. Tax key number 950-9997-002.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. City Attorney.
No, I did, there are some technical changes required on this. So I'm looking for. The motion, and I would add to that, including minor technical changes approved by the city engineer and the city attorney.
So that's your motion, Alderman Day?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we got a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item G9, a resolution authorizing certain officials to accept and access water main and sanitary sewer easement on property owned by Wisconsin Electric Power Company, tax key number 844-9994-000.
So moved.
Second.
Got a first, Alderman Craig, second, Alderwoman Eichmann. Mr. City Attorney.
I see that there's a revised copy handed out at your place. And I'm inquiring of the city engineer because I inquired of engineering staff whether or not the return to address on the document could be changed to return to the office of the city clerk, City of Franklin, instead of to We Energy. If inquiry was made to We Energy regarding that.
You can make that change.
If they agreed to it.
Acceptable?
Don't know.
All right, it is what it is.
Technical correction.
Okay, we had a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item G10, this is another revised. A resolution authorizing the installation of a fence within the 20-foot public utility easement upon Lot 31 in Block 1 in Park View South Subdivision, 7923 South 67th Street, tax key number 805009600. Kenneth S. Papunski, applicant.
So moved.
Approved.
So we've got a first, Alderman Holford, a second, Alderman Barber. Any further discussion?
Is that, just clarity, that is District 6, I believe.
Well, there is a,
As it was redefined, that would be.
could be. Now, looking at this revision here, Madam Clerk, is there anything, is this just this highlighted portion? Okay. So, all right, excellent. So we had a first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item G11, a resolution authorizing certain officials to accept a warranty deed for dedication of right-of-way for public road purposes, Lot 1 of the recorded certified survey map number 9338.
Move to approve.
Second?
Holfer and Day. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. G12, authorization to execute proposals with Industrial Roofing Services, Inc., IRS, for the City of Franklin Building exterior specifications of Fire Station Number 1, building exterior specifications of Law Enforcement Center, and exterior sealant specifications of public library city facilities as part of an enhanced capital improvement plan.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. City Attorney.
With regard to the motion, and I discussed this with the Director of Administration, the subject motion, instead of staff executing the appropriate related agreement, city will prepare the standard city form agreement, which is executed by the mayor, the city clerk, and the Director of Finance and Treasurer. So that's the recommendation. that the motions should include that.
Okay, amend your motion. Alder,
I just have a question for the city administrator. So if we're doing this through this company, and they're going to be adding a 7% fee for services, is that correct? So do we need to go back to the existing budgets and add 7% to these
My understanding,
estimates?
my understanding is that for
Okay. And then the other question I had is somewhere in the documentation, additional site visits necessary as a result of contractor workmanship concerns will be conducted on an agreed upon frequency, and have another fee. I guess if they're identifying the need, they're writing the scope of work, they're issuing the contract, and they're monitoring the work, I would think that they would cover any additional costs to go back and oversee defects in product or workmanship. That would be my thought, but
what page are you on,
it's
Alderman?
157,
So we're going to page 157.
under Phase 3 Project Administration, under Job Progress Observations, then there's the bullet point.
And if that's got to be referred to city attorney for clarification, that's fine. Could you restate that second part of your question, Alderman?
Well, it says here that if they have to make additional trips to inspect because of contractor workmanship issues, we will be billed on an agreed-upon fee for their extra trip. And I'm stating that if they're setting the specifications, the scope of work, hiring a contractor and monitoring the work, I would expect that we would not have to pay them to go out for fixes.
Well, I'm going to refer that to city attorney because the city attorney reviews all contracts, not the DOA. City attorney.
What that says is the service provider who's overseeing the project, not doing the work, construction work, is not responsible for it. The contractor who would be awarded the bid would be responsible. And there will be a separate contract if and when the bid is awarded.
Okay, that's not how I read it, but if that's the intent, then it's fine.
It's talking about trips by industrial roofing service.
Them.
Correct.
Right.
Alderman Day.
I just have one quick question. In all of this, where it discusses, in all three projects, Phase 2, Phase 3, does the city have any role in the oversight, or are we giving up all kind of control and the oversight of the process to IRS?
my understanding that are essentially giving them opportunity to run with it all. City attorney agree?
Yeah, that's, these contracts, just so everybody knows, contracts are reviewed by the city attorney. So please direct your questions to him for these because if it's a contracted thing, they're reviewed.
Ask again, please. I was writing the notes of
Sure.
what.
Sure. My question is, when they talk about in Phase 2 and 3, the role that IRS is playing in the awarding the contracts, the progress, the construction meetings, in all of it, it's the company IRS that is doing this. Does the city have any role or oversight in this, or are we giving
Sure.
IRS the kind of blank slate to do as, not saying that they're not the expert, I just want to know what the city's role is in this if something is not going the way we would like it to go.
I'll defer to the city engineer because he's dealt with industrial roofing services contracts that went out.
So
bid.
this was set up by the prior Director of Administrations. I will tell you that there have been other projects that city staff, at least my city staff, had no involvement in. So I don't know how the city administrator
Yeah.
oversaw the project.
Yeah, and I understand that this was put in place by the prior city
But,
administrator.
Yeah, so I without having intimate knowledge of this
Okay.
contract, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. I'm fine.
So then that's why this, for a second, when we're looking at contracts and obligations and duties, that's where we are and should have been more dependent upon city attorney, which we will moving forward as part of the deal. And Mr. City Attorney, go ahead.
And the actual construction project, as I said earlier, will be a construction project. And the cover for this is, as I said earlier, for inclusion in the motion, will be the standard city form services contract, which ends with a statement or a provision for controlling provisions that the standard city form provisions control over anything contrary within the proposal document annexed thereto.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Do we have a first and a second? Having a first and a
Confirm that the motion includes what I said earlier.
Could you repeat what the motion should include, sir? Technical corrections,
Include the standard city.
City, yes.
standard city form, including technical corrections by the city attorney.
No, a standard city form. And that it is executed by the mayor, city clerk, and treasurer. The normal process. That goes in the motion in lieu of director of administration executing the agreement.
Who made the motion on it? Alderman Holford, is that your motion?
Yes.
Alderman Reichman, your second?
Yes.
No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item G13, authorization to execute a cooperation agreement with the Milwaukee County for program years 2024 through 2026 for the Community Development Block Grant and HUD Home programs.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item G14, a resolution to execute South 116th Street Trail Project, change order number 4 to Grafe USA Inc. to prepare a Phase 2 environmental site assessment for $35,000.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Mr. City Engineer.
And just note that a future budget amendment will be forthcoming. We're going to recommend that you take it out of the St. Martin's tours portion of the trails that very closely related, and they're there together. So I talked to the finance director, and he's okay with the future budget amendment.
Thank you. Any other further discussion? Mr. Barber.
There was a comment and citizen comments about the turtle. Is this anything that could be discussed at this point or brought into this?
It would not, and I would suggest that we've talked about this at Board of Public Works, and we're actually stopped. We're no longer putting up those signs.
Okay.
So, unless it's a large animal that could cause injury to the driver, Federal Highway has told us to not put up more sign clutters for the birds and turtles and other. I like birds and turtles and so forth, but we're gradually taking those down on that.
Have an extra one we could put up for a while?
I know there's two on St. Martin's that aren't
Actually,
there.
there were some that got put up on St. Martin's prior to doing all the investigation, and they got stolen. So we're even absent some turtle signs.
Still under investigation.
Okay.
So we've got a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. G15, allow Hausch Design Agency LLC to develop a messaging program for Franklin Sewer Utilities Private Property Infiltration and Inflow Reduction Project without errors and omissions, professional liability insurance.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item G16. In ordinance to amend ordinance number 2023-2531, in ordinance to amend ordinance number 2022-2521, in ordinance adopting the 2023 annual budget for the general operating fund to transfer $30,380 in expenditures from the engineering personnel services salary and benefits accounts to the planning personnel services, salary and
Engineering.
benefits. Sorry?
Did you say planning?
I'm accounts to the planning, personnel services, salary and benefits accounts. I'm reading the top of the thing, if you guys want to read along. And benefits accounts, to return the transferred funds from planning services accounts to engineering services accounts.
So moved.
Second.
So we've got a first, Hofer, second, we'll give it to Eichmann. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, ayes have it. Item G17, you've got a revised copy in front of you. Moving staffing and budget for a .5 secretarial position from the planning department to the engineering department and restructuring of the authorized positions in the engineering department.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a first, Mr. Craig, second, Mr. Hooper. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, G18. Confirmation of the appointment of Danielle Brown as the Director of Finance and Treasurer. The Common Council may enter closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 1985, sub 1, sub C, and F to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of a public employee over which the Common Council has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, and to consider financial, social, or personal histories of the specific persons, which, if discussed in public, would be likely to have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such histories, and may re-enter open session at the same place thereafter to act on such matters discussed therein as it deems appropriate.
Motion to confirm.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Are we, at this point, are we going to confirm, or are we going into closed session?
Motion to confirm.
Motion to confirm,
Second.
and we have a second, okay? First and second. And this is, I know what you're going to say, and I'm thinking the same thing you are. So I know we'd like to discuss things with Ms. Brown, so we'll
I'd like to make a motion to close.
well, we've got a first and a second to confirm. So we have a first and a second. It's going to be a roll call vote, by the way. But I know there's some people that have, some electeds up here that have some questions for Ms. Brown, but we have a first and a second, so. Okay, so we're going to act on the first and the second?
What happens? I can either.
Well, I think that's the thing, is I know there's some questions that would like to be asked and answered, and, you know, I think.
Mayor, for clarification, shouldn't we go into closed first?
Well, I understand what you're saying, Alderwoman, and the thing is, we had a first and a second. Mr. City Attorney, what are your thoughts?
It's up to the council.
Great answer.
Motion maker and second may withdraw. If not, then there's a vote on it. And see if it passes or not. Does not pass, then there can be a motion to go into closed.
If
All
the
right.
maker of the motion withdraws, I would withdraw my second so that we could go into closed session.
If not, we do the vote, and we go on, just as you stated.
Let's do the vote.
All right, going to a roll call vote?
Alderman Holtfer.
Aye.
Alderman Holtfer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Eichmann. Aye. Alderwoman Day. Aye. Alderman Barber.
Aye.
Alderman Craig.
Aye.
Unanimous. All ayes, no nos. Motion carries. I know there's questions that we would like to ask. We're still on this, we could do it publicly. Mr. Attorney, do you agree with that?
There's no longer a purpose to go into closed.
Not closed. Keep it open. All
Mayor,
right.
for clarification, it's customary that when we hire a new person, we can keep it in open, but Just to
Well, I
welcome
prefer
her.
to keep it open. I know what you're saying, and that's why during the different interview processes, we had different times that people could come and talk. But at this point, Madam Finance Director, would you like to come up to the table, please? And congratulations. The table. You're now part of the team. You'll never stand there again. You're right there.
Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome.
Thank you.
And we are unanimous. Welcome to the team. I'm very, very excited to have you on board.
Thank you.
I look forward to working with you and sharing some of the daily pains that we're dealing with. This is insane. So I'm just saying a few words and we're going to open it up. It is public right now, so whatever questions are asked and answered is now public.
Okay.
Alderman Barber.
I don't have any questions. I was on the panel that interviewed you, and I thought it was very appropriate that we could move to nominating you. So that's why I made the action I did. I was very pleased with your presentation to us in that interview process, and that's why I thought we could move forward or sought to move forward the way I did. So congratulations. Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hi, Danielle. It's
Hello.
nice to meet you. And I just want to reiterate, I have nothing but confidence in you fulfilling this role. My hesitation in my voting, I was just a procedural portion. I trust everyone that was on the interview panel. They spoke very highly of you, so welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Alderman.
I also wanted to welcome you. As far as my suggestion of a motion to go into close was simply just to welcome you
I appreciate
and
it.
congratulate you, but we can obviously do that in open as well. So welcome to the team.
Thank you.
I'm done at the end. I'll be last.
Thank you.
Let's get to work.
Yes.
Yes,
to have you.
absolutely. Monday's coming up quick.
Well, seeing anything further, thank you, and don't mind just hanging around here for a while.
Absolutely. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, going into item G19.
I'm gonna grab my stuff.
Franklin Community Advocates, I'm sorry?
Want to do the business before we go into closed session items?
The last one, that's fine.
It's interspersed.
No, yeah, I agree.
Mayor, can
One
we take a
other.
5-minute break too before we go
Well,
into
why don't we
close?
do H and I and 5 and then go with that? Okay. Let's see here.
There's 21 also.
Yeah, 21's kind of weird.
21, 22. Oh, no, 22 would be close.
No,
We'll just do licenses.
vouchers.
Licenses and vouchers?
Can I get just a quick moment, because I didn't bring all what we did tonight?
Oh, absolutely. I'll go to I then. and
It
go
was
back to
only
H.
30 pages.
Yeah, right? Okay, we'll go up to item I, vouchers and payroll. This will be a roll call vote. Motion approving the following city vouchers with an ending date of June 1st, 2023, in the amount of $1,834,189.90. Point two, payroll dated May 19th, 2023, in the amount of $442,320.66. And payments of the various payroll deductions in the amount of $450,606.40 plus city matching payments. And payroll dated June 2nd, 2023, in the amount of $440,772.20. And payments of the various payroll deductions in the amount of $233,855.84 plus city matching payments. And estimated payroll dated June 16th, 2023, in the amount of $450,000. And payments of the various payroll deductions in the amount of $240,000 plus city matching payments.
So moved.
We've got a first to be Barber, second Holfer. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Craig,
Aye.
Alderman Barber.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day,
Aye.
Alderwoman Eichman,
Aye.
Alderman Hopfer.
Aye. 5 ayes, no noes. We'll go back to H. Licenses.
So the licensing, the licensing committee met tonight. We went through a healthy agenda of licenses to approve. Page 1, we are going to hold Nicole Stankowski and Mitchell Lenski and Kenneth Lux. Nicole Stankowski will need to provide tape work from the applicant as requested. Mitchell Lenski, Kenneth Lux will need to appear in front of the committee.
Hold on 1 minute, please, Mr. City Attorney.
With regard to the Stankowski application, I understood at the license committee meeting that it was approved, conditioned upon providing the documents
yes.
showing completion of whatever had been court ordered.
My mistake, I marked it correctly.
So that would be the condition on approval.
Condition on approval, yes.
And as part of the license, with the agreement of the applicant will participate in counseling, wellness services.
You good? Sir? All right, continue, please.
Page 2, all are approved with 2 exceptions. Roberta Fenny needs to appear in front of the committee, and Nicole Olander needs to update their application as well. Page 3, all are approved with 1 exception. Antonius Wilder needs to update his application as well. Page 4, all are approved with 1 exception, with 1 addendum where Eric Gagliano needs to finish his application. He is missing his complete address on the application. Page 5, all applications are approved. Same with 6 and 7, all are approved. 1 exception, Marin Wendt needs to also update their application as well. And I move to approve all licenses as presented. Thank you.
Second.
And a first and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Barber?
Not relative to this, but I'd like to have it as part of this discussion, but we got to approve it.
Okay, first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Barber, go ahead.
I'm getting a call, or received a call this week from someone that was talking to me about what happened in the license committee process that I'm not part of. Is there an appeal process, or who can I refer this person to in terms of getting some clear? I guess it was pulled or withheld because of some technicality. I didn't see it in the minutes or the record, but what would be an appeal process in this case?
Mr. City Attorney?
It's not on the agenda. Give me a call tomorrow.
Okay.
Depends on what it is.
Okay.
All right, we will now go back to regular order on G19. Franklin Community Advocates versus City of Franklin and Strauss Brands LLC, Milwaukee County Circuit Court, case number 20-CV7031, and Franklin Community Advocates versus City of Franklin, Milwaukee County Circuit Court, case number 22-CV523. The Common Council may enter closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 1985 sub 1 sub G to confer with the legal counsel for the Common Council who is rendering advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to these subject litigations, and to re-enter open session at the same place thereafter to act on such matters discussed therein as it deems appropriate.
Motion to move to closed session.
Second.
So I'm gonna, well, I read the first part of the action sheet. I'll reread the bottom part as the actual motion's a little shorter. Motion enter closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 1985, sub 1, sub G, to confer with legal counsel for the common counsel who is rendering advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to the Franklin Community Advocates et al. Versus City of Franklin and Strauss Brands LLC, Milwaukee County Circuit Court, case number 20CV7031, and Franklin Community Advocates versus City of Franklin, Milwaukee County Circuit Court, case number 22CV523 litigations, and to enter open session at the same place thereafter to act on such matters discussed therein as it deems appropriate. Could I please have that 1 and 2 again?
Motion to move to closed session.
On a second.
We have a first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Hopfer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day.
Aye.
Alderman Barber.
Aye.
Alderman Craig.
Aye. 5 ayes, no noes. Motion carries, and we are in closed session.
You asked for a motion?
Now's your chance.
What's not?
Can you, Alderman Barber, can you repeat that?
Okay, it's 8:06 PM. We are back in open session. Could I have a motion for what we discussed in closed?
Motion to proceed as approved in closed session.
Second.
Now, as directed and discussed.
Mr. City Attorney, you just say that on some, catch up on it.
Motion to proceed as discussed in closed session.
Is that your motion, sir?
Yes.
And the
Second.
second. Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item G20. I'll read them both top and bottom, so be comfortable. Potential commercial industrial manufacturing developments and proposals and potential developments, agreements in relation thereto for including but not limited to the properties at the northeast corner of South 76th Street and West Ryan Road. The common council may enter a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 1985 sub 1 sub E for market competition and bargaining reasons to deliberate and consider terms relating to potential commercial / industrial / manufacturing developments and proposals and the investing of public funds and governmental actions in relation thereto, and to effect such developments, including the terms and provisions of potential development agreements for including, but not limited to, the properties at the northeast corner of South 76th Street and West Ryan Road, and to re-enter open session at the same place thereafter to act on such matters discussed therein as it deems appropriate. Now I'll read the motion. A motion to enter closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 1985 sub 1 sub E for market competition and bargaining reasons to deliberate and consider terms relating to potential commercial industrial manufacturing developments and proposals and the investing of public funds and governmental actions in relation thereto, and to effect such developments, including the terms and provisions of potential development agreements for, including but not limited to, the properties at the northeast corner of South 76th Street and West Ryan Road, and to re-enter open session at the same place thereafter to act on such matters discussed therein as it deems appropriate.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? First was Barber, second was Eichman. Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Alderman Craig.
Aye.
Alderman Barber. Alderwoman Day.
Aye.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Aye.
Alderman Hopfer.
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. We are in closed session.
Recording in progress.
It is now 9:04 PM. We are back in open session. No action taken on the last item. Moving forward to G21, a resolution authorizing certain officials to execute an agreement with Ellers and Associates, Inc. for tax incremental district creation professional services. Looking for a motion here. Motion to adopt the resolution authorizing certain officials to execute an agreement with Ellers and Associates, Inc. for tax incremental district creation professional services.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Moving forward to item 22, another novel. Wholesale public water supply to Franklin 2024. The Common Council may enter closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 1985, sub 1, sub E, to deliberate upon information, terms, and provisions of the potential provision of public water supply to the city of Franklin as related to the city, the Franklin Municipal Water Utility, and its customers in 2024 and beyond, and the potential negotiation of terms in relation thereto, including but not limited to potential amendments to the agreement for Oak Creek to provide water at wholesale to Franklin, potential agreement terms with alternate public water supply sources, including but not limited to the city of Milwaukee and Milwaukee Water Works, and the investing of public funds and governmental actions in relation thereto, for competitive and bargaining reasons, and to re-enter open session at the same place thereafter to act on such matters discussed therein as it deems appropriate.
So moved.
Second.
Well, now I gotta read the entire council action request unless I'm good.
I believe it's appropriate, and even though the mayor previously higher title and had the motion, that's twice. Reasonable understanding that reading the title doesn't include the council.
Excellent. So we've got a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We need to do roll call vote to enter closed.
Right. Madam Clerk?
Alderman Hopfer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day.
Aye.
Alderman Barber.
Stepped out.
And Alderman Craig.
Aye.
So that's 4 ayes, 1 absent, 2 absent. Motion carries. We are in closed session.
Mayor.
I never saw an agenda. I never saw it.
Okay, it's 10:28 PM. We are back in open session. There's no action taken on the last item. So now we're going to item G as in George 23. Notice of claim and circumstances and notice of injury from Alan H. Markovitz of Von Briesen and Roper SC, attorney for claimant Polish Heritage Alliance, Inc., alleging property damage from a broken water lateral pipe. The Common Council may enter into closed session pursuant to 1985 sub 1 sub E and G state statutes to consider a notice of claim and circumstances and notice of injury from Alan H. Markovitz of Von Briesen and Roper SC, attorney for claimant Polish Heritage Alliance, Inc., alleging property damage from a broken water lateral pipe on or about October 7th, 2022, and may re-enter open session at the same place thereafter to act on such matters discussed therein as it deems appropriate. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Holfer and Barber. Roll call.
Alderman Craig.
Aye.
Alderman Barber.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day. Aye. Alderwoman Eichman.
Aye.
Alderman Hopfer.
Aye.
5 ayes, no noes. Motion carries. We're in closed.
Recording in progress.
It is now 10:34 PM. We are back in open session. Is there a motion?
Motion to proceed with the disallow or as discussed in closed session.
Motion.
Hold on,
And
Mr.
deny.
City Attorney, he's going to clean that up for you.
I'm sorry.
Potential motion is to proceed as discussed in closed session and disallow the claim.
That's your motion, sir?
Sir.
Okay, we got a first.
Second.
Barbara, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Let's see here. Double tap. Item G24, successor agreement to the 1/1/2019 to 12/31/2021 collective bargaining agreement with the City of Franklin Local Number 280 of the Law Enforcement Employee Relations Division of the Wisconsin Professional Police Association. The Common Council may enter into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 1985, Sub 1, Sub C, and 1985, Sub 1, Sub E, to discuss police collective bargaining, negotiation strategy, and possible settlement options, and to re-enter open session at the same place thereafter, to act on such matters discussed therein as it deems appropriate. Have a motion.
Motion to go into closed.
We have a first, and we have a second. Roll call, please.
Who was the second?
Jason.
Alderman Hopfer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day.
Aye.
Alderman Barber.
Aye.
Alderman Craig.
Aye.
We are in
Recording in progress.
we green lighted here. It is now 11:12 PM. We are back in open session. No action taken on discussions. Is motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Got a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are done.
Can I reconsider my vote?
Sure.